whenever you want to do it, that's fine.
Just if you could get those guys to get me more class,
Okay.
we'll put it on the next agenda.
Okay.
You want to donut on me?
Thank you. Thank you, though.
You were thinking, I didn't have time to eat breakfast. Walk in here hungry.
I thought I'd get most of myself. You know what? It's good.
Okay. Your meeting in order. Public comment. I think.
15 months ago, I brought the board plans that Everett McCain did for me to remodel the old part of the animal shelter. And I know it's on the agenda today, but this is something a little bit different because the remodeling is almost done. And so I wanted to show you some pictures of before and after. And it's, these are the new stainless steel doors. The kennel's been totally remodeled. It's got, it used to have 5 kennels on each side, but now it has 4 because we made them larger. And they have an outside kennel which is enclosed, so staff now can go in out on the outside and deal with the dogs cleaning on the outside. It's really, they did an excellent job of the restoration, but it's just the start of what we need to do out there. They ordered 4 extra doors to put in the main kennel, which has room for 20 dogs. They are so overcrowded right now that from just not strays, but they're overcrowded from court cases, code violations, and they all come to the shelter for the 10-day quarantine or until the court case is settled. And I'm going to make a presentation on the agenda item also, but I wanted you to be able to look at what we've done out there while the presentation is being given to you. You can see what the main kennel looks like. It's awful. There's no way to sanitize it anymore because the paint has come up, and so that needs to be redone. The new kennel doors have to be put in. They've just done an excellent job. They put in windows. Believe it or not, that shelter didn't have windows, so in the wintertime it was really cold for the dogs and staff, and in the summertime it was excessively hot. So I just wanted to give you these pictures so you'll have them during the agenda item. So you can appreciate what your staff does out there, which is above and beyond.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to address the board? If not, announcement item to be discussed in closed session.
Mr. Chairman, the board will be convening in closed session for a conference with legal counsel, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to subdivision D2, Government Code Section 549.6.9. And for a conference with labor negotiator Rick Haig, including the following bargaining units: Lassen County Peace Officers Association, Lassen County Peace Officers Supervisors Association, Lassen County Peace Officers Management Association, and Lassen County Deputy Sheriff's Association.
Good. Okay.
Did you adjourn? Did you adjourn?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we pray today for thy blessing Guide us in our conduct toward ourselves and others, that we be humble and merit, so we will not adjourn in anger. May our meeting be informative and productive. In thy name we pray. Amen. Okay. Announcement of items discussed in closed session, Mr. Egan.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the board met in closed session for conference with legal counsel, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to subdivision D2 Code, section 549.6.9, 2 cases, no reportable action. It also met for conference with labor negotiator Rick Haig, including the following bargaining units: Lassen County Peace Officers Association, Lassen County Peace Officers Supervisors Association, Lassen County Peace Officers Management Association, Lassen County Deputy Sheriff's Association. There was no reportable action.
Good, thank you. Agenda approval, additions, done or deletion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like H6 removed.
H6 is moved.
From what?
From the agenda, so we can get, they want to suspend money by a motor grader. There's only one bid on here, they don't have the other one. I can't make an informed decision without seeing both bids, to make sure we're not, comparing apples to apples here.
Why don't we discuss that at the agenda item?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, we'll leave it on. Request to close the room. Anything else? We're good. We got a motion to approve the agenda as is. Second.
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Ayes have it. Okay, Violet. Wrote a poem here she wants to be read, so, Treasures from the Heart. Bear with me, say if I can mess it up. My poems are my diamonds, my pearls from the sea. Their flowers undying, God's given to me. Their gold from the mountains, my gems from the stone. Their love I've been given from friends I have known. My light in the darkness when I cannot see. My faith never ending in adversity. My poems are my treasures until I shall part. I offer them slowly as love from my heart. I pen them from knowledge with wisdom transcend the beauty I've witnessed to share with a friend. Thank you, as always.
She's doing pretty good. She called me up and asked me to bring that phone to her, so I'm trying to get her to come to the meeting, but she just
How old is she, Tim?
We don't ask this question.
Meeting learning.
She's a county employee, but you know, it's amazing the talent that lady has for writing poems.
She has a hard time sitting for a long time, so she just wanted to come to me. We'll get her to come to us.
Okay, with that, we go to public comment. Anybody from the public wish to comment to the board at this time? Seeing none, we will move on to unagendized reports by board members. Jim?
The only thing I have to report is that Sunday, we attended the Missing in America project procession that came through Susanville. We kind of worked with Kathy on that, promoting that locally. We had a very nice crowd along Main Street, pretty impressive for something that wasn't really promoted as an event like you would normal events. They had 3 of the 6 remains came through on the motorcycle. Had over 50 motorcycles escorting, plus a whole sundry of other vehicles. And after they came through town, they actually stopped at Walmart. The Blue Star Moms organized a little luncheon to feed people that are part of this procession. And Elgin Cannon from Guinea Ribs and Bibs down there, he cooked the food, and when it came time to pay the bill, he donated it all. So I think it's something that he should be acknowledged for. So the visitors coming from town, talked to the guy that was the head of the organization. They've been in existence since about 2007, and this is their second basically group trip to Arlington with these remains that have been unclaimed, and there were several of them. World War II guy basically passed away in 1980, and sitting idle, waiting for somebody to notice. I showed you just how significant it was. He said that for the motorcyclists and those that are involved in the program, coming down Main Street and seeing people there with flags and standing and saluting and whatnot, he said made them all tear up. He said it was pretty amazing. So they're on their way to Arlington, going across country. There's a group coming from Phoenix, Arizona that's going to meet up with another group coming from El Paso, Texas, that's going to be meeting up in Albuquerque. And they'll be joining this group in Colorado for the final trip across the country. And as Kathy Strudel had indicated a couple of weeks ago when she appeared before the board, on 11 a.m. on September 1st, they'll be having a ceremony at Arlington Cemetery in carrying these 6 remains. And one of the 3 that was with the group that came through town was a Silver Star recipient, which is a pretty high distinction in terms of honor. There's Vietnam, there's 5 different armed forces represented, and there's a Buffalo soldier that is also going to be included in this. That's the one that came from El Paso, Texas. So this guy said it's been something they've worked on several times, and he likes to get do this at least once every couple, 2-3 years, in terms of depending on what they can locate these unclaimed veterans. So, very emotional. I'm very proud of Susan Lowe. I'm very proud of the Lassen County for their participation and support. And Rick Stewart down at Susan Lowe Supermarket, when he tuned into what was about to happen, he actually came back from Reno and he closed his store, and all of his employees and anybody that was shopping at the moment made a bill for him to go out and pay their respects. So I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, that's my report.
Thank you, Jim. Aaron?
Yeah, in the past with flood control district, we always assumed that it was a 5-4 split, but with Modoc County, they have since redistricted their lines, so it's all 5 of their supervisors take jurisdiction now into Sacramento Valley Watershed. So they would have all 5 of their members within the part of the flood control district. So anytime we go to flood control district, we'll have to coordinate with them just so we can have that planning in the future of the world. So we need to do a little better coordination with them in the future, especially moving forward with the groundwater basin with the flood control district. And then I went to the RCRC meeting down in Sacramento this last Wednesday. Had a Ken Pimmelott, he was there. He's the deputy chief, or the top dog for CAL FIRE, and had a very good discussion with him and the stuff that CAL FIRE is doing or should be doing, etc. And then they did a deal on the amount of the dead trees from the insects, just from the drought. And just in the Southern Sierras alone in 1 year, it went from 300,000 dead trees last year to over 10 million this year. And that's just dead trees. And that's the stuff that you can see. And I'm sure there's others that are dying, but by the end of the year, they'll be wrapped up if they can't identify them now. So it's going to be a huge, huge problem as far as getting them out of there for just to harvest and salvage for the fire damage. So anyway, and that was just in down in the Southern Sierras, just in that. And all that's due to the bark beetles with the drought. Anyway, on the transportation side of things, at the state level, they were thinking, RCRC said maybe SB 16 was probably the best. So anyway, that's something to look forward to. And then as far as the solid waste guys go, they're looking at increasing the tipping fees from $1.40 up to $3.50, or up to $3.50. And of course, again, that goes to the State Water Resource Control Board to help pay for their fees if they're mandating assessment on everybody. They're looking at getting rid of the removal of the organics, and not only from the commercial dumpers, but also from the residential ones.
And it's going to probably be talked about this afternoon in
Absolutely.
Solid waste
Yeah.
meeting, and according to our director, Lassen County, on a per capita basis, pays just a huge proportional difference. I mean, these fees that we're talking about, the way they're applied, we wind up paying far greater percentage-wise than other parts of the state. So that's not good news.
No. So anyway, so it's, of course, the increase with Cal Recycle, they're going to do more and have more guidelines and more regulations. It's just it's just not a good thing, a lot of this stuff, so, I mean, being a member of RCRC is a big bang for our buck to keep that lobbying down there to help this rural counties, because there's no way we could go down there to hire staff to keep up on all this stuff, so, anyway, it was a good meeting, but there's also not a lot of good news to come out of it. I talked to, I haven't heard back from Kathy Manning as far as some of this groundwater stuff, as far as stuff we talked about with her, but hopefully she'll be getting back in touch with me the next day or two, and Jerry Burns as well. Anyway, I guess that's about the gist of it, and I got this stuff I can share with Tony, the supplemental that he's asked for, so, on different bills and that have come through, so we can make comments.
I'm going to put a site to that next week. CSEC board will be meeting in Sacramento. I'll be down there for the Cal Valley conference along with Jeff, but I'll plan on attending the CSEC board meeting. We'll probably cover some of the same introductions. We'll report back at our next meeting in September.
Good, thank you, guys. Jeff?
Friday, we had our transit task force meeting at the admin building, and we're moving ahead with that. We're gonna do a poll, kind of a census on who's out there, so we know what we're exactly dealing with. And it was a pretty good meeting, I thought. Did you, Richard?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to report a little bit more on that in my report, but there's the first task, I think, is to quantify what we've got out there. And some of the people weren't even aware that there were any vagrant people up down there. So we need to find out what we have.
I think what was impressive about the meeting, though, is the fact that all the agencies were represented, the city was there, so what you're going to be able to do is start comparing notes and finding out what the true facts are. And I think Jeff's right. It was kind of startling as to who knew what and who didn't know, and how they were not sharing certain information.
How do you count?
Well,
That's
where take a few off.
I guess it's great to us, like 10 low zeros, put a big fire out, say we parking lot.
I think
Whoever gathers, you count in.
I think we'll physically go down to the sites where we know there's encampments and interview people.
Yeah, that's.
That'll be fun.
I think.
Interesting.
I'm going to volunteer someone to do that.
The sheriff is planning on undertaking that census information, and I think he was interested in knowing, and of course, Sherry was there, and she gave her report on their interaction with that group.
Very informative.
Okay. That is it?
We also had a pretty large crowd for that procession in the parking lot of the Mark. It was full of people out there paying their respects, and it was really, it was gratifying. The Army Depot came out with their fire engines, and they put the flag up. They extended it 200 feet in the air. It was pretty cool. And also, we've had to reschedule our meeting with the commissioner from Washoe County in the contiguous district to mine at the Army base. We're going to try to get more of their board there for that tour. And that looks like it's going to happen in the end of September. Lieutenant Colonel Kroon got called out on some business to the Pentagon, so we had to reschedule it, which I saw in the packet when I got notification. So we're pursuing that, but the good news is I'm talking to her quite a bit. And we have a lot of issues that are common, and I hope to develop that relationship.
Good, thank you, Tom.
Where did they
Are you going?
Vernon,
You can be our official representative.
Been there, done that.
I'm saying a word.
I
Okay.
forgot public comment. Wow.
Public comment. I did public comment.
Oh, really?
Everybody's happy. Now Annie's got a hand up.
I have a question. I was wondering if you could clarify if we're going to put the IHSS issue on the agenda. There's about half a dozen of us or so here today, and we want to know when we could come back for that. Would that be something we could do next month?
Richard?
Sure. and I spoke with Ms. Westerbeck a week or so ago regarding her request, I think 2 meetings ago or 1 meeting ago. And there's 2 issues here. There's an issue of IHSS workers that want to discuss. Most of what Ms. Westerbeck wanted to discuss with me what I judge to be items that are relate to terms and conditions of employment, and we as a county have an ethical duty to discuss those issues with the IHSS workers representatives, since they are a represented bargaining group. And so I told Ms. Westerbeck that we need to go through that process for that component of her concerns. Now, the second component of her concerns, the way I understand them, were the patient care that, I guess patient's the correct term, the patient care that's being given and changes that have occurred regarding the level of patient care that's being authorized by the various agencies. And that is an item that I think that's within the purview of the board and can be discussed outside of the employee relationship representation. But I think we need to be very careful to separate those 2 issues. And I am planning on bringing that back to a future board meeting. And that's going to involve Ms. Brawley and her department predominantly, as far as the changes that have occurred in the level of the classification of care that's being authorized for the IHSS program. So.
I just have a comment. Yeah, it's on the recipient's hours. That was the issue of
Can you
being
give
cut.
the name for the record?
Teresa Androzzi, and I'll fill out a form if you need me to. From the discussion of the recipient's hours, which we have a recipient here with us that got up and shared her story, you said we'd call with the social services so we could talk about what's the issue happening in Lassen County. So it really has nothing to do with the workers. Obviously, the workers brought the recipients to you to share their story, because, so that's, we're just looking for the date with the social services where we can talk about, discuss this further and see if there's any solutions. So,
Okay, thank you. It'll be on
I would say the 8th or the 15th of September.
You know, Mr. Chairman, and I think it's important that we listen to the overall, having an overall presentation. As long as that presentation isn't focusing on the negotiation activities between the employees and the county, because I think that's where we're kind of basically tied up. But I think the larger picture, I mean, we get presentations from the various departments, and I think there were some questions that were raised, and I think we wanted to have social services kind of, there's more to the story than just one input. I mean, it's got a lot of facets to it, and I think the board needs to pay attention to that. So I'm all in favor, but I think it's important, and I know I had one of the workers met with me a few weeks ago, and that was what we were focusing on, but then it started kind of working into, more of the negotiated type items, and at that time they were in between, I guess, bargaining representations or something, so it was kind of in limbo, but, I didn't mind listening to that, but, the bottom line is we can't focus on that, and she appreciated that. I mean, it wasn't that that was the intent, it just sort of kind of is inherently kind of cross ties to it, but I think that the bigger picture is definitely something worth looking at.
We were a couple of comments, so we don't want to get too much into it. Okay, did that answer your question, Ann?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I
Darren?
one other thing, I had a phone call on, in regard to People Lake out there at the boat ramp, how low it's getting in with the silting in that's happening. So I guess when they back under the people with the jet boats, they'll rev it up to run their boat up on the trailer.
Every time stone is falling.
Gallatin.
Yeah. Anyway,
The low water.
so when the boats are churning with the jet boats, they're creating a bunch of silt, and they're building like a berm back there, and it's getting so that they can't use it. So they were wondering what we could do to get out there to help out with to get that cleaned out, because I guess it's a federal, so they can't maybe get
The Forest Service did.
yeah. But the Forest Service can't get like the cons to go in there and shovel that out, and they can't get the equipment in there, so I don't know if there's something we can do to help maybe facilitate that,
We could,
that clean out of the
maybe
grant.
talk to the Ranger for Eagle Lake District and see if they can be any help. They've been pretty good about that.
So anyway, so if we could maybe help facilitate that, that'd be good. 'Cause that's the only access we go to that property right now.
Well, if it don't rain this winter, it just,
Well, in about a week and a half, according to Dr. Bateson, we're down to less than 2 inches, being at the lowest points in the recorded history up there, so, yeah.
okay, we're going to,
2 inches right now.
less than-
we're done with unagenda reports by board members. So we will move on to, boards and commissions, Lassen County Fish and Game Commission.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, that was, there was an inadvertent appointment of Mr. Armentrout as the alternate of District 5, when in reality he was applying for and was interested in being a regular appointment to District 4. And that is the direction it's being taken.
And so to get that done properly, we would need a motion to remove him from
To appoint him, as is requested in the action requested field, to, as an appointee in District 4.
Which automatically moves them away from District 5.
Yes.
The District 5 was making a couple of appointments, and I think it kind of got caught up in that.
Yes.
So I would be happy to make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion and second, any discussion? Being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Ayes have it. F2, Fish Resources Conservation District, consider making an appointment of Colton Hopkins. Colton. What part will be done?
Yeah. And in all fairness, you know, for disclosure, my brother, he also sits on this board, and he doesn't get financial interest in the so I mean, I feel that I can participate in this. I'm sure you guys want, you guys would.
No financial, correct, Council?
Not that I'm aware of, no. No, and having a brother that serves isn't a basis for a conflict under the PRA that I'm aware of.
Good. I'm gonna make a motion.
Yeah, I'll make the motion to approve Colton. He's a good kid, and he's back, and he's going to make a difference.
Motion and second, any discussion? Being none, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, say no. Ayes have it. Information consent calendar, do anything on there anybody wishes to take off for separate consideration? Being none, do you have a motion to approve the information consent calendar as is? So moved. Second? Second. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, say no. Ayes have it. H1, Service County Service Area Number 1, Hair Lake TV, budget.
Mr. Chairman, let's see you here. There was an error in the budget that was prepared and submitted by the Hair Lake TV folks, and the error essentially was the beginning balance was lower in reality than what they had projected it to be when the board adopted the budget, and which would have resulted in a negative fund balance at the end of the year. So this will correct that, the reduction of $27,000.
Stop a minute. We have to recess as Board of Supervisors and convene as the Hair Lake Valley TV.
Yes.
County Service Area Number 1. Okay. You should have caught me on that, Council.
You're right.
Just looking.
Goes on to the next item.
Okay, go ahead, Richard.
Okay, so in order to make that budget balanced, the recommendation is to reduce the equipment line from $45,000 to $17,765, and that will result in a balanced budget.
Question? Give me happy.
Yeah, I move that we make that amendment to the budget for the TV area number 1.
Richard, how did that happen?
Do we have a second?
It was, how it happened is they had an estimate that they were working with, and when the dust finally fell when the auditor closed the last fiscal year, she discovered that their ending balance was far less than what was anticipated. So when they came in earlier to adopt the budget, it was based on it. A lot of times we didn't adopt this budget until like September, October. So this year it was a lot earlier than usual. So it was just one of those things that just happened. they can only spend what's there, so even if they left the budget there, they still couldn't spend it.
Any more discussion from the board? Questions from the public?
Sorry.
Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Ayes have it. We'll go to, I will adjourn as the county service area number 1 and reconvene as the board of supervisors.
Before we move on, I would just say, Mr. Chairman, if I could, if for some reason the revenues pick up and collections are higher than expected, and there's a balance, and they'll either roll into and be available for next year, or they could come back and ask for an amendment to the budget to take care and use those funds if necessary. So there are 2 options that's still out there.
Okay, thank you, Jim. We move on to H2, Affordable Care Act. Who's speaking on that?
That's going to be Ms. Speen. She assured me that she was going to be here at about 9:30. So
4 minutes still, so that's going to take a few minutes.
it is.
We can come back to that.
Thank you.
That's right here, what 3, H3, personnel. Is that going to take some time?
That should be handled on the heels of the Affordable Care Act presentation.
Number 4, rules and procedures for the board of supervisors.
Whatever your pleasure is.
Can we like bounce to H6 and just to bring it up so that we can get the other bid here?
Okay. Aaron would like to go to H6. We will take that up. I see Pete and Larry and everybody's here. So. Good morning, Larry.
Morning. Okay, H6, it's a bid award for a motor grader. We actually went under CMAS. CMAS actually has motor graders, so we asked for some pricing under CMAS. We got two bids, basically one from John Deere, 672G, and the total cost is $332,793.68, and another one from Cashman for Caterpillar for $353,675. So we recommend that we go with the low bid John Deere 672G. It's an all-wheel driving motor.
I just want to see the other bid so we can, compare,
Oh, sure.
make sure that, you're bidding, buying the same thing.
Yeah, we did ask for like equipment, means and whatnot. Cashman actually gave us a bid under CMAS, and they also gave us the bid under another national bidding. It's ENJPA, and they actually did exactly the same bid.
Larry, what about maintenance? Is any of these companies better or worse? Maintenance department, because it seems to me that might be a pretty good chunk.
It could be. We've always had cats before, but this was $20,000 difference, so we felt it was worth a try. I know Caltrans runs John Deere. They seem to they're pretty much equal equipment, I believe. So we felt with the difference in price that we should give a little bit of a chance and see what it's like. As far as the equipment, pardon me?
Next question.
Warranties, I think, are pretty close. One other thing, I think
12 months.
12 months.
Unlimited on John Deere.
You got a 5-year warranty on the cat, 3,000 hours, 2,000 hours.
This also includes the extended, so they're both 5 years. There's an extended warranty.
Well, it's 48 months, they're still a year short.
Well, I think it's, the standard warranty is 12 and is the 48
Student
months.
warranty is 48 months. So there may be a year or two.
I guess we don't know if the extension is extended from the 12
Bob,
months.
Nick, you guys,
What's that?
on the warranty, on the,
When we go to
Okay.
bid, we go by whatever's offered,
right.
but we ask for a 1 year.
Is the John Deere and the cat the same on this bid, you remember?
We specified our 1 year,
Uh-huh.
what,
And they just give us what they
yeah.
manufacture.
So when they.
Because usually on a piece of equipment,